Inspiration.com.
The 1980s was a bad time for the Western genre. There just wasn't a lot. And what was there was kind of crap. The genre really had kind of fallen on hard times. It was something that was a sure thing in the 50s and, became much more of like a experimental thing in the 60s and 70s, getting into the spaghetti westerns and movies like El Topo and things like that. But there are two movies that came out in the 80s that they didn't revive the Western, but they were hits. In fact, you could say that they are the only Western hits maybe in the 1980s, and they get no respect. I'm here to talk today about the better of the two, in my opinion. Young Guns 2. The movie thought of as the Brat Pack, the Breakfast Club Western. It's not a great movie. Neither of the Young Guns movies are great movies. They are very, very okay. They're enjoyable. I think Young Guns 2 is a little bit more enjoyable. The first movie stars Emilio Estevez as Billy the Kid in his sort of early days. I think the casting of Emilio Estevez, he is really good in the part. He is too old, though. Everybody's calling him the kid. He's sort of looked down on like he's the youngest of them all, but they're all basically the same age. I have no idea how old he was in the movies, but I think Billy the Kid only lived to be 21. And Emilio Estevez is not 21 in these movies. Nor is he any younger than that in the first movie. The first movie is a revenge movie, There's Terrence Stamp plays a good-natured guy. He takes in young ruffians and he teaches them to read and, gives them a purpose in life. And the group really is comprised in the first movie of also Charlie Sheen, Lou Diamond Phillips, Kiefer Sutherland, Dermot Mulroney, and the second movie to me improves on the group. Charlie Sheen and Dermot Mulroney don't come back, but we get Christian Slater, and we get Christian Slater in his element, in his heyday, back when Christian Slater was a name. Now he's sort of like, who's that? Oh, is he that guy from that show? Oh yeah, okay. This was when Christian Slater was kind of badass. But he was always a joking badass. He wasn't like, he was never really he's a movie star without ever really doing much to deserve being a movie star. So the group is better in the second one. Really, by the time we get to the second one, they're all outlaws, which is the fun part. They become outlaws in the first, but the second one, that's how it starts, and that's the movie. And that's really what we want to see. And we want to see Emilio Estevez really, he hams it up as Billy the Kid. He's having a ball, and it's just fun. It's a fun movie. It's not something to watch. Oh, it's a masterpiece. It's not Unforgiven. It's not The Searchers. It's not what am I thinking of? True Grit. Thank you. I have to look over there. It's not any of those. This is a minor Western, but that doesn't make it a bad movie. It's the kind of movie that you put on. I actually watched these recently back to back, just one after another, and it's a great little, 4 hours to pass the time. It was raining. It was a nice day to just pop in Young Guns and Young Guns 2 and go back to a simpler time. Young Guns 2, you will get the John Bon Jovi song stuck in your head, Blaze of Glory. Great song to accompany it. In fact, I think the song probably became better known than the movie. These are worth checking out. Kiefer Sutherland, I think, gives a pretty, it's funny, he's a tough guy in it. They're all tough guys. You don't want to cross them. But Kiefer Sutherland is a reluctant tough guy in it. Lou Diamond Phillips is very good in it. I wish all these guys had kind of been able to stick around a little bit longer. They all had great charisma. And I guess it just didn't really translate as they got older. They were teen idols. Girls had posters of all these guys on their walls. They'd pop up in John Hughes movies, and I guess that time just sort of passed and it left them behind, which is too bad. I mean, obviously Kiefer Sutherland went on and did 24, but that's been a while. It's been a while since 24. Emilio Estevez directed a few things, but he doesn't act much anymore. Lou Diamond Phillips doesn't pop up hardly at all. And then Christian Slater, I think wasn't he on Mr. Robot? I don't know. I never watched that show, but I could swear that he was. They're all working. It's not that they're not working. It's just that they're just not around the way that they used to be, which, fair enough. I mean, I saw an interview with Emilio Estevez where they said, and it's only from like maybe 5-10 years ago, and they said, well, maybe you do Young Guns 3, and he's like, I don't think we're Young Guns anymore. The movie also has an interesting framing device. It is told from the point of view of a man claiming to be Billy the Kid, that he was not killed by Pat Garrett, that he survived, and he's now in his 90s, and he's wanting a pardon that was promised to him by the governor back in the day. That story was kind of debunked. People who had survived knew Billy the Kid did say, yeah, we think that is Billy the Kid, but the authorities debunked it. It's an interesting framing device. It really does remind you that this is sort of a true story. It's very loosely based on fact. Very, very loosely based on fact, to the point where it's basically a fictional movie. It's, don't look to this for a history lesson. But as far as just a fun, taking the name Billy the Kid, that's what Westerns often do, is they just take a name that people know, and then they build a story around it, which goes to show how those figures really became legends. They became myths. And Young Guns really plays up that myth and has fun with it. Again, not a great movie, but I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. I would absolutely recommend checking it out. If nothing else, a rental on Amazon Prime. You don't have to run out and buy the Blu-rays like I did, but probably less than $10 to rent both of them on Amazon Prime. And they're just, again, if it's a rainy day, if it's, whatever, if you're sick and you can't go out, rent these movies. You'll have fun with them. Their worlds. Sort of gave myself the challenge of, okay,